August 8, 1934. A farmer who lived near the village of Jaintiha in India's Jabalpur district was walking along the riverbank when he saw a sight in the sand that caused him to halt. This man dug into the earth with his hands. Tools were later utilized for the work. Help was summoned by the farmer because the giant skeleton discovery was so large that 3 men were required to lift a single bone. Many people believe that the legs alone measured 10 feet in length. A local chief commanded that the full excavation should proceed. The giant skeleton discovery was transported to the palace so that geologists could wait for an inspection. Within a short time, newspapers across the world published this news. Then a deep silence followed. No scientific paper was presented to the public. No images are found in any public archive. No museum requested to keep these bones. The ground was sealed by authorities. The world continued its path as if the giant skeleton discovery had never existed. It has been observed that this silence hides a secret. Discard every piece of knowledge that people have about digital misinformation today. The events which follow took place before the existence of the internet, before social media was invented, before individuals had a reason to create a false story for the purpose of gaining attention. Many people believe that history was recorded more carefully in the past. December 20th, 1897. The New York Times, which is a very respected newspaper, reported that a burial mound was opened in Maple Creek, Wisconsin. Inside the ground was the giant skeleton discovery of a man who stood over 9 feet tall. Experts claim that the skull was as large as a half-bushel measure. Rods made of tempered copper were located next to the body. No more information followed this news. No museum shows these items today. No record exists of where the bones were taken. 14 years later, on May 4, 1912, the same newspaper shared another story. 18 skeletons were found at Lake Lawn Farm in Wisconsin. This work was done while a medical professional from Beloit College watched. The heights were measured between 7.5 and 10 feet. The Times recorded that the skulls were larger than the heads of any people who live in America today. Not one of these remains has been placed in a museum. Not one educational institution claims to own them. It has been observed that over 50 years, similar reports appeared in Ohio, Kentucky, Iowa, Minnesota, and Virginia. The same measurements were given, the same words were used, the same end came to every story. The reports regarding the giant skeleton discovery do not end in India. They do not stop in America. In 2014, images from a dig in Saudi Arabia were seen by people across the globe. A femur bone, which is a single bone from the leg, was found to be longer than a normal human being is tall. No official news was given to the world. No government leaders confirmed the truth. Experts claim that no archaeologist was allowed to speak about the find in public. Peru, Wisconsin, Saudi Arabia, and India all show the same thing. Different governments exist in different lands across different centuries. One single pattern remains. The same seal is placed on the truth. The same silence is kept. The same door is locked by those in power. This is the moment where the story changes its direction. The bones are no longer the only subject of the conversation. Every ancient group of people who left writing behind described these same beings. These descriptions are not just similar. Many people believe that the descriptions are identical. In the Hindu books, names like Daityas and Rakshasas are used. These were giants born from divine blood who had great strength. These beings fought wars against the heavens. The Mahabharata does not treat them as stories. It records these beings as people who lived in history. In the Bible, specifically Genesis 6:4, words were written 3,000 years ago that have never been explained. Experts claim that there were giants in the earth during those days. These were the Nephilim. When the people of God first saw them, the men returned with a report that is still remembered. These men felt like small insects when they stood in the sight of the giants. Goliath of Gath was recorded at the height of 9 feet and 9 inches. Imagine standing next to a person of that size. In the Nevada desert, the Paiute people possess a story that they do not call a legend, they call it the memory. A group called the Siteka lived there. These were red-haired giants. These beings were very violent. The tribes joined together to fight them and trapped them in a cave. The entrance was sealed with fire to end the war. Miners in 1911 found that specific cave near Lovelock. Inside were 10,000 objects. Sandals measuring 15 inches were found, which showed signs of being worn. Bodies with red hair were seen. It has been observed that the cave was used for 3,500 years. In the Norse stories, the frost giants were present before the gods were created. They were there at the start of all things. In the Sumerian writings, the Anunnaki are much taller than the humans who are carved below them on stones. These stones are 5,000 years old. Many people believe that it is impossible for cultures separated by oceans to describe the same beings with the same details. The poet in Scandinavia and the writer in the Near East had no way to speak to each other. They did not share a language. They did not share a mythology. What is the chance that every person invented the same lie? During the late 19th century, the Smithsonian Institution was the main keeper of history in America. This organization created the Mount Exploration Division. The task was to dig into the old earthworks and collect every important item. This was an active plan. Agents were sent to places like Ohio and Mississippi to find things. Crates were packed and sent to Washington. The reports from the institution confirmed what was received. Remains were found that measured 7 feet or more. A researcher named Jim Vieira spent many years collecting 1,000 newspaper stories. He spoke to the families of those who worked on the digs. His finding was always the same. The bones arrived in Washington and then the news stopped. There is another side to this story that is important. In 2022, fact-checkers at PolitiFact looked into a story about the Smithsonian. The story said a court forced the institution to show papers about destroyed bones. This specific claim was found to be a lie created by a website. Experts claim that every giant skeleton discovery is just a mistake involving animal bones or false news. This is a serious argument. This argument should be heard by everyone. The internet story was fake, but the old newspapers were real. A question remains that cannot be answered easily. If every report was a mistake or a lie, why did they all stop appearing at the same time? After the Smithsonian Group finished its work, the giant skeleton discovery was no longer mentioned in the news. The government of India closed that location in 1934. The giant skeleton discovery in the palace was never studied by the public. No photo was placed in a scientific book. The geologists who were supposed to look at it left no report for people to find. The 18 skeletons from Lake Delavan have never been placed in a museum. No organization says they have them. The red-haired bodies from Lovelock and the bones from Saudi Arabia follow the same path. These things were found, these things were documented, then these things disappeared. Two explanations are possible. The first explanation is that hundreds of people across the world all made the same error. They all told the same lie without knowing each other. The second explanation does not have a comfortable name. If something powerful truly walked on this earth, then we are asking a different question. We are asking why the world is not allowed to see the truth. Many people believe that the giant skeleton discovery is hidden for a reason. India is not the only place where a site was sealed. This happened in Wisconsin and Saudi Arabia too. It has been observed that a pattern of hiding exists. Either every culture on earth made up the same story, or something lived on this earth that history does not want to remember.